All right, so we're in London, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
London, Ontario.
Yes. Are we live?
We're live.
Oh, shit.
That's why I started.
All right. Hey, yeah, we're in London, Ontario. We're supposed to be in a cocktail thing right now at the Ivy School of Business.
But the NHL decided to have the biggest blockbuster since when?
Boy, I mean, you said Subban Weber,
but there's gotta have been. I'm probably missing something.
But like, of a player of Mikko Rantanen status is like insane because you got to think like maybe the Jack Eichel trade.
The Jack Eichel trade is a good one.
Like, you know, because I'm thinking basically anything that goes through Vegas. Mark Stone was a big one, but it wasn't like this.
No.
And you're not getting it. But the thing with the Jack Eichel trade is you had Alex Tuch, and you had some other things, but you didn't have the marquee pieces moving beyond just the guy, right? You had one marquee piece. Now we're talking Rantanen, Necas, Hall, Kotkaniemi, and the third round pick.
And it came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Because we heard, there was a report on sportsnet.ca today by, I want to shut them out, Michael Amato, who wrote that.
Oh, Michael, I know him.
You know Michael?
Yeah, he's great.
So he wrote that Rantanen's looming extension puts Avalanche in big predicament. And he said that they're not close.
Right.
That they have been struggling to figure out this contract because he's looking at something comparable to Draisaitl for $14 million. And they don't want to give him that. McKinnon makes $12.5. Even though signed in a different cap world, he still makes $12.5.
And Makar's going to make that kind of money too.
And Makar's going to get all of that money. We saw how Toronto went. So, if they didn't want to lose him for nothing, you got to bring out the big cojones and trade him. And then now we're here, and he's traded to Carolina.
So the trade looks like this right now, because we haven't got full disclosure on it. Chicago will get a 2025 third-round pick, and they will retain half of Rantanen's remaining, the cap, which is $9.25 million, right? Apparently we're sideways.
I don't know.
Robert says we're sideways.
Okay. Robert, I'll fix it.
So,
oh yeah, we are
no, why are we fixing this? We must leave.
Oh my gosh.
How do
Orientation was locked.
Oh, is it?
There we go.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ah, there's me.
That's very us. Very, very us. All right. All right, here we go.
Keep going.
Oh, sorry. Chicago. Half retain on Rantanen. It looks like they're getting a 2025 third-round pick as well. Still not sure from where. And what's weird about this, if that's all Chicago gets, I'm curious. I gotta understand the rationale with that. Like, you gotta think they're gonna get something. If they're, I guess maybe they're. Are they giving up much? No. Taylor Hall hasn't had the best season there. He makes $6 million. They're not. They might not get a huge prospect in this. Colorado's gonna get Necas, Kotkaniemi, and potentially something else. Rantanen and Taylor Hall will end up in Carolina. What's interesting about this, too, is when we were doing our season previews this year with Carol... Oh, there we go. Hey!
We're doing this?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
Good. We were doing this. Carolina was like, who's going to play for the Hurricanes? They don't have the star power anymore. They tried to keep Jake Kensel. They made that big trade with Michael Bunting and the Pittsburgh Penguins and stuff last year. And we're looking at them and going, okay... who's going to play for them? Who's going to score for them? We thought they were going to come down significantly in the standings. Clearly not. They've been looking for a big scorer. They got one with Rantanen. Hello. Sorry.
I'm trying to squeeze in the frame.
We can do this.
Oh, there we go.
Is that? Yeah. Does that work?
Hey, we're good.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this makes sense, but it's a big swing for the Avs considering they have to keep. Then now they're gonna have to keep Rantanen, and they are not known for opening their wallet.
They have to keep the Hurricanes.
Sorry, the Hurricanes have to keep. Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, they've never paid anybody in their history. So I'm curious as to what this deal is going to look like. I guess they're willing to pony up the $14 million that he wants. You don't make this deal without the assurance that you're going to do that contract. So looking at it now, Sebastian Aho is their highest paid player at $9.75. So that's going to change next season where they get the number one. And that's the whole purpose, right? That's why you build this team where you have Sebastian Aho making less than $10 million. So when this superstar becomes available, you have the cap space to sign them. So from a Hurricane standpoint, I think it's really good asset and roster management to build to this point where you can take advantage of a team like Colorado and trade for Rantanen and give him that big extension.
Now, in that article, does it mention that Middlestat struggled a little bit in Colorado?
Yes. So Middlestat has really struggled, and the luxury of being able to shift someone like Rantanen into his spot to balance out the lineup is invaluable.
Right. So you've got Kotkaniemi coming in. You've got Necas coming in. Necas has 55 points this year. He's very quietly having a great year. He's been a monster on the power play. But remember last year, they put him on PP2 and he complained, and that's when the trade request came in. Mm-hmm. So part of me wonders, obviously Carolina were setting him up to get maximum value to ship him out. Where does he fit into this lineup if, you still have an issue potentially with Middlestat? Because Kotkaniemi is not going to solve that problem, right? Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Carolina's cap space right now. Yeah. Necas plays center. Kotkaniemi, do you switch? I'm trying to.
What are you thinking?
Do you switch Middlestat? Do you try him on the wing, or do you go? Nate, Necas, Kotkaniemi, Middlestat, Kotkaniemi, or Kotkaniemi, Middlestat?
Down the middle.
Down the middle.
I think Necas gets some time on the wing for sure.
And then my second question is: do they make this deal without knowing the status of Gabriel Landeskog?
I think Gabriel Landeskog doesn't even know the status of Gabriel Landeskog.
Even now?
He's been practicing with the team a little bit. He'll be out on the ice every now and again, but I think they're entirely unsure if they're going to have him back. But you got to play like you don't.
Right.
I think, and even if he's available in March, you don't bring him back in March. You bring him back for free in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that's completely out of the question for the regular season, especially right now. We're already a couple weeks away from February. You might as well push it till early April, have him play in the playoffs.
So do you have Colton, Necas, Lehkonen as your second line? Is that what it is?
I would think so.
Okay, and then who moves up to the right wing?
Let's see.
At the top of the Avs lineup. This is where I'm curious about how they see this fitting.
They've always
That's why I was wondering about Gabe, right?
Yeah. So Necas is playing on the right wing for Carolina. That's probably where he's going to slot in for Colorado. Colorado's always been top heavy. That's how they have to play because of the amount of injuries they've had forever and how top heavy they are in the salaries. So I think getting Necas balances out the lineup a little. You take out Rantanen, you plug in Necas there, and now you have some depth with Kotkaniemi. You're gonna have some cap space too to make some moves and acquire more pieces. So I don't know. I like it for the Avs considering you weren't gonna bring back Rantanen.
And the Avs have had to deal with the Rantanen thing hanging over the head. Gabe Landeskog still trying to come back, and they revamped their goaltenders. They traded both of their goalies before Christmas, and they got on the right path. Drouin's back. That's balls. Is the way I say. You gotta, because listen. Let's make it about Toronto for a second. The Leafs are facing. Are they not the exact same thing with Marner potentially?
Yeah.
If you're looking at it like this, and so if the Leafs are like, hey Mitch, you got to make less than Austin, let's say.
Yeah.
Which
I truly believe should be the stance from this front office.
The thing is, though, I don't know that this front office has the balls to go, you know what, we're not going to get there.
Exactly. And they have to be not afraid of any pushback they receive. Because you look at this right now, and you're yelling as a Colorado Avalanche fan, how are you trading Mikko Rantanen? He's so good.
Yeah.
You have to believe in the process of this whole thing and understand that you couldn't lose that asset for nothing. And I think the Leafs are very much willing to lose Mitch Marner for nothing if it came to this situation, which is the wrong way to run a team.
Yes, I agree, and I think Rantanen had trade protection just as Mitch does, right? So you're probably dealing with the same deck. Does he have trade protection?
Yes. So there's a little thing there.
You have to remember, guys, we're analyzing this on the fly without even.
Which is the fun of this whole thing. We want your questions in the chat too.
Yeah.
Chat. Where's this contract? Oh, this one. Where do I find his?
No anchors.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
modified no trade clause.
Sweet.
So 6 or 9 team no trade list.
Wow.
So
So it's not on the
A lot less protection than Mitch Marner.
So basically, the Canada no trade, Canada Buffalo no trade list.
Maybe like California teams because taxes.
Right. So look. So
Okay.
when you look at the Kane side of this, is even more fascinating because remember they did trade a lot for Jake Gensel last year. Jake Gensel to get them over the hump of the playoffs because like the Leafs, we complain about being a 1 round and out. Carolina's standard is so much higher because they complain about being a 2 round and out team.
Yes.
Rantanen is a monster in the playoffs. Necas won it out. And you look at what they can do here. They can now roll. Oh shit! Who's gonna play center for them?
Rantanen, I guess.
Because you've got who's gonna play second line center?
Where they also got Taylor Hall in this deal. Let's
Yeah.
not forget Taylor Hall. But they are Jack Drury, good.
Yes.
Stahl, good. I guess you're just complaining about second line center because Aho's going to be up there first.
Yeah. So maybe you have Rantanen and Hall in the second. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then can you make another deal for another center if you think you need it? I don't know.
Right. They're probably in the market for more here, but Hall was playing. Oh, they've already removed him. It's probably going to be on Carolina second now. I want to check the depth chart there, but it's a ballsy move by Carolina, but I think this is why you set up your team for the idea of gaining a superstar like this.
No shit.
I don't know. I'm kind of like it makes sense for both teams. I don't think immediately looking at the trade that either team lost. Just looking at the situations they're in. And in Chicago, depending on, I don't know what everything they received for doing all of this, they might be the biggest benefactor of everything. So all the picks for being the third team in.
So supposedly they've, only thing that's been confirmed right now, Jack Drury is included.
Oh my God.
Emily Kaplan is reporting. Massive 3-way deal to send Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall to Carolina. Necas and Drury are going to Colorado, so that makes more sense. I thought it was going to be, we had heard Kotkaniemi. Now it's Jack Drury. That makes sense because he was the second or third line center in Carolina.
Okay.
Chicago takes 50% of Rantanen's salary, gets its own third round pick back, but that's all Colorado got to do this. Like that is not.
Read the full trade.
So the trade is Mikko Rantanen, Taylor Hall, Carolina. Necas, Jack Drury, Colorado. Chicago takes 50% of Rantanen's salary and gets its own third round pick back. And remember,
that's it.
Retaining Rantanen's salary is essentially maybe $1.5 million change because Taylor Hall's making $6 million.
Yeah, that's nothing.
So it's and
there's probably a cap situation for the Hurricanes.
But they're literally giving. I mean, Taylor Hall's making $6 million. It's too much for how he's played. But
so they're just trading Taylor Hall for a third.
Yeah,
is essentially what they do.
That's insane.
That's not great for them.
That's not great for them. That can't be it. That can't be it. Greg Wyshynski is reporting. Necas was a name that came up in Carolina's discussions with Vancouver about JT Miller, but the Hurricanes weren't willing to part with him for Miller. Patience is a virtue. So here, if you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan, this is how nuts your week's been. You spent maybe the last 2 weeks going, are we getting Pettersson? Are we getting Miller? Rantanen.
Yeah.
Falls in your lap.
Yeah.
How do you think you feel right now?
You're over the moon.
That's
like as a Hurricanes fan.
Yeah.
Like who cares about Marty Necas right now? I'm going out and getting a Rantanen.
I mean, are you almost like who cares about JT Miller right now?
Oh, easily. Yeah. This is a much better situation than having JT Miller. He's volatile.
Yeah.
As much as we love JT Miller the player, there's a reason he's being traded. And this reason that Rantanen's been being traded is that he's too good for the money. Like Colorado can't pay him all that money because he's so good. JT Miller is being traded because he's a problem.
Yes.
So I would rather have the guy who's just he makes too much.
Right.
I think this is a win for the.
It's a rough day. You got to think it's got to be a rough day for Vancouver. So here's the thing with the Hurricanes.
There's their trade partner. God.
If the Hurricanes are serious here, and they don't normally do this, they have their first, second, and 2 third rounders this year. First, unless that third rounder, one of those third rounders, is the one that went back to Colorado. I don't know, but they've got their first and second the next 3 years. So if you're looking at draft capital, And they've got a good system too.
One of them is going back to Colorado.
Okay, so
or to Chicago because Chicago's getting their own third back.
And that was probably Teuvo Teravainen?
I don't know.
When the hell? No, was he a free agent? What deal was that?
This is the.
Oh, they swapped third and fourth?
Yeah, this is a swap. 24 swap to a 25 swap. Yeah.
Got it.
So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, so Chicago's getting their own third back for Taylor Hall.
Wow. Shit.
This doesn't. Oh, where are you leaning with anybody winning this trade?
I think you got to go back to team with best player at the end of the day wins trade.
And you think that's Rantanen?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's what makes it a home run.
Mm-hmm.
Slight win is good. Home run is they re-sign him.
Yes. Which I think is the number one priority.
Yeah. Like if you're able to get Rantanen under contract and you go, fine, we'll do $14 million for you. If you can get Tom Dundon to commit $14 million over 8, which is that's a big contract. That'll be the biggest contract in league history until Marner and or McDavid.
Some people in the chat are asking for the full trade details because the numbers are going up and people are tuning in right now.
All right.
So do you want to read that while I get the laptop?
Okay, so I'll go back here again. So let me just pull up Emily Capley because she had the most succinct so far. Okay, here we go. You guys ready? Trade is it's a 3-way deal. Chicago, Carolina, and the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche will get Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall. Sorry, the Avalanche will get Mikko Rantanen. The Carolina Hurricanes will get Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall. Marty Necas and Jack Drury of the Carolina Hurricanes are going back to Colorado. And Chicago's basically operating like a facilitator here. 50% of his of Rantanen's salary will go to the Chicago Blackhawks, and Chicago will get their own third-round pick back, which was a deal they made in a pick swap during the 2024 draft. So pretty wild. Yeah, this is a crazy one. Steve is going to Steve's doing a video right now. We're just waiting for, so that'll be on the SDPN channel tonight, doing a full breakdown. Steve's doing a full video. Drew has to edit it.
I know.
Drew's got to
Poor
edit.
guy. If you're not aware, Drew's a giant Colorado Avalanche.
Can you imagine being
And
Drew?
by the way, we are in London, Ontario
Yeah.
for the Ivy Business School Leadership Conference.
That's right.
Tim Haraney spoke today.
Yeah.
And Adam and Alan Walsh are speaking tomorrow.
With
so that's
Jesse.
why we're in a hotel room in London.
Yeah, and then Jesse made a coffee.
Yes.
A Van Hoot.
Yes. And we're supposed to be at a dinner.
Yeah, we should be
When
going
do-
soon.
When do you want to go?
We should probably roll.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
we have
having
to
too
go.
much fun. Like
I know.
the numbers
This is
keep going up.
This is actually great.
Do you want to take some questions?
Kevin Murphy said, "Wait, so what about Kotkaniemi?" So Kotkaniemi was rumored first, apparently not in the deal. So Jack Drury makes a lot more sense. Kotkaniemi makes close to $5 million a year. I just don't see why Colorado would want him and Necas. I think you want Jack Drury's a young, great player, right?
Yeah.
So
is Carolina? We'll take some questions and then we'll head out. Is Carolina the favorite to win the Stanley Cup? That's from Yanni.
Good question. It depends. Strangely enough, it depends on 3 teams. I think it depends on if the Rangers are for real.
Oh no!
If the Rangers are well and truly back,
you think they're a favorite to win the cup?
the Rangers have had Carolina's number.
Yes.
So Carolina shouldn't even be worried about being a favorite for the cup.
Yeah.
They need to worry about getting into the 3rd round and staying there.
I think
You got to get past New York, and I think
think-
New York lately has been really good.
I would say I would still rank Vegas ahead of them.
Oh, okay. I thought we're just talking Eastern or the full.
No, the Stanley Cup.
Oh, okay. So Colorado, they could meet in the final.
The Colorado, I think, is a. Do you have them ahead of Carolina?
Oh man.
Like, how do these odds shift? I still do
I
because
think
they
so.
were my pick going into the season
Yep.
to get to the Cup final, and I don't think this move drops them. If anything, it keeps them even. It might move them up. So I'd say Colorado's still ahead of Carolina.
I say, yeah, Colorado. I might put Dallas ahead of them too. I really like Dallas.
Dallas is a good, solid, deep team.
You
I
can't
don't-
hate Vegas.
I don't trust Carolina's goaltender.
I don't either.
Frederick Anderson can be injured at any moment.
Yep.
I know he's battled a lot and is back in the lineup. What was it, last week he
Yep.
got into a game? But yeah, outside of Freddie like standing on his head, they don't have depth in goal.
Yeah. So on the West, those are the three teams.
Yeah.
In the East,
Colorado, Dallas, Vegas.
Florida,
Edmonton.
Oh,
Sorry.
Edmonton.
Sorry.
More.
Edmonton.
Yeah,
as well.
they're so good we forget.
Edmonton's ahead of the Hurricanes.
And then in the East, to challenge them, the West is undoubtedly stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I think New York's getting in the playoffs.
I think they get in. I don't think they're Stanley Cup.
Do you think that they could beat Carolina though? They've had their
In a series, I would lean Carolina this year.
You would even with Shesterkin.
Yes, I would lean.
Okay.
I think New York.
Well, Rantanen now, yeah. Okay.
New York's gettable this season.
And they're maybe potentially a little bit old as well.
Yeah. New Jersey.
Oh man.
Toronto.
How soft? I'd say Toronto, Florida are a challenger.
Yeah.
Jersey is still a little soft.
Okay.
Get mean.
Damn.
Get mean. Get JT Miller, right? The price for JT Miller just went down. You just took Carolina out of the sweepstakes.
Right.
So go get JT Miller.
Right.
Then I'm like, okay, they could be the next Florida. But I think Florida's obviously the major contender too. So
let's see. Any last questions? Because we're gonna sign off.
Because we should be
go. Oh, there was a question here. Biggest trade in the last 10 years?
Biggest trade? Probably.
Yeah. Probably most surprising.
Certainly. And the most star players. You've got a former first overall pick in Taylor Hall. You've got Rantanen, who was an absolute stud on their way to the finals and winning the cup in 22. You've got Necas, who's a star on the rise. Jack Drury, who people think a lot of. I mean, those are big names.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
All right. We can sign off here.
Okay. We love you guys.
I'm gonna find a way. I guess I'll have to get up to end the stream.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is it just me?
Have
to go back again?
Say some words.
Hi guys. We should be at we're Jesse and I are like 40 minutes late for this.
It was important to give you content.
Yeah, that's anyway. Good night. Happy content.